This episode is sponsored by Horn Photo.
What's up, camera nerds? We're out here in San Francisco and we're testing out the Sony ZV-E10 Mark II versus the Sony ZV-E10 Mark I.
I wanted to really test out these cameras and see the difference in image quality for both photo and video, as well as test the built-in creative looks for the E10 Mark II. I want to thank Horn Photo for sponsoring this video and providing the E10 camera for this review. When it comes to design, at a first glance, both the Sony ZV-E10 and E10 Mark II look very similar. The compact size of both cameras are almost identical. I did favor the E10's build quality because it has mostly metal design and it just overall feels more robust. And also a big factor for me is the camera shutter button feels very nice. This camera does have that older shiny metal look that Sony originally came out with. On the flip side, the E10 Mark II is noticeably lighter. It takes after that plastic matte look that all the newer Sony cameras do have. Still feels very sturdy, but overall, I feel the original camera seems much better built and the shutter button feels much more responsive than the spongy kind of feel that you get with the E10 Mark II. Let's take a look at some of the photos taken on this camera. I had a kind of interesting setup like I showed in the beginning of both cameras side by side, and I try to match the settings and everything to the best of my ability. So I'll have the Sony ZV-E10 Mark II on the right-hand side and the original Sony ZV-E10 on the left-hand side for this comparison. I did use the kit lens, and this is comparing to the new OSS2 kit lens, and I just wanted to keep things as even as possible. So we're testing out the new sensor on the ZV-E10 Mark II along with the new kit lens, and this is just going to be a most common use case a lot of beginners are going to be running into buying the kit lens. So let's take a look at some of these images here in Lightroom. This shot at 250th of a second, f3.5. I'm at 16 millimeters. From what I could tell, both images look very, very similar. Image quality looks about the same. Zooming in at like 400%. Just on this one, it's noticeable that the original is a little bit sharper than OSS2, but that could be just user error. Again, at 400%. Sharpness is just about the same. I can't really tell a difference between these images. Colors look similar as well. The main thing you could tell, there might be a little bit more dynamic range with the new sensor on the ZV-E10 Mark II. But from this test, I really can't see much of a difference. Even the out of focus looks pretty much the same. So again, take a look at sharpness here. So this one you can see a little bit of a difference. This one compared to this one, looking at face at 400%. Really hard to tell much of a difference. They look about the same again. Look at the corners here. Let's see here. Again, just about the same. So here is San Francisco, roughly about the same. The ZV-E10 looks a little bit bluer. Take a look at the highlights. Definitely a bit more detail in the new version, the ZV-E10 Mark II. Looks like you see a little bit more detail. This one seems a little bit blurry. And as well as the highlights, I was able to capture just a little bit more blue. And let's take a look at these highlights here in the bushes. This is at 300%. Yeah, as you can tell, a little bit more detail in the bushes compared to this one. So a bit sharper on the new one.
Today we're testing out the Sony ZV-E10 Mark II and some of the built-in color profiles. Today we're shooting on the 17 to 70mm 2.8 from Tamron, as well as the kit lens. And yeah, we're going to show you as many different scenarios as we can do, both S-Log and some of the built-in color profiles built into the Sony ZV-E10 Mark II. It does have the Cine Vlog profiles, like S-Cinetone, Clean, Chic, Mono, and we just wanted to have some fun out here in Simonian Farms and get a couple different looks. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy.
So after testing out some of these color profiles, you do get more dynamic range, of course, when you record in S-Log 3. If I had to pick some of these looks. I do like the chic look. It looks really good. Fresh looked relatively good, but you do get a good hit on dynamic range. Of course, mono looks nice and punchy. I do like the black and white look on this, but you know, with a little bit of tweaking on S-Cinetone, that is definitely a good Rec 709 color look. And I do like to see this implementation from Sony with these built-in looks inside the camera is really cool. You know, you can see this like coming in future cameras like the Lumix S9, which is fantastic as well. But yeah, overall, S-Cinetone is probably going to be my pick. And then, of course, for professional video work and most dynamic range, you're going to want to use S-Log 3. Really cool to see that this is built inside the camera. I want to see this, you know, in future Sonys, which I'm pretty sure they will do. Built-in Fuji-esque type looks inside the Sony ZV-E10 Mark II. Fantastic to see. And that has been my quick overview of the Sony ZV-E10 versus the Sony ZV-E10 Mark II. We went over some of the picture profiles using the kit lens, as well as some of the creative looks built into the Sony ZV-E10 Mark II. Special thanks to Kiara and Melissa for your time modeling, doing some of these shoots with me, and as well as special thanks to Horn Photo for providing the original Sony ZV-E10 for this review. If you guys enjoyed this in-depth look inside some of these profiles, please let me know. Leave a comment down below if you guys have any questions. Look forward to testing this camera further. And that's it for now. I'll see you guys on the next YouTube video. Happy shooting. Peace.